Started. Lindenwood head coach Jed Stugart, the team coming off a 30-14 win over UT Martin last week. This is their open date. They're back in action. They'll have two more home games coming up after that open date. Tennessee Tech, Gardner Webb coming to town after it. So, Coach, just some thoughts about your team, then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, it was good. Bye weeks coming at a really good time for us, especially coming off of a good win. We really felt good about how our guys played and how they prepped for that. Everything kind of, when you kind of look at everything we've challenged these guys to do through the last few weeks, things we've talked about even on here, they're responding well. We've talked a lot about preparation. I think these guys are understanding that we can be a good football team. We just have to, we have to stay humble and we have to prepare, and we're not going to ever just be the team that's just going to roll out there without doing all those things. And I think that's pretty much the thought of everybody. You got to be prepared, but I just really like how they're being coachable, how they're buying into that. They're a lot of good things. I think that's what everything came together Saturday. It was good to be back home again. That's a special win for our program. Obviously, just with the given Coach Simpson, that their program has always been very good, and we've always considered them as an elite team in our league. And so that, that's obviously a really good win for us. And now we just, like I said, learn some more things out of that. And this is a good week. We're on fall break too, so we were able to get out and practice this morning a little bit. And so we'll get some work done this week as well, with some recruiting as well. So it's kind of fun to kind of have this week because we need a lot of, we're going to be playing a really good football team here in a couple of weeks at home, and we want to use this week too to even get a little jump on that as well.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to some questions. Ben, whatever you got, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I got to hear from Coach Saturday, so we didn't get to talk a lot about the defensive effort, and I thought the tackling especially was outstanding. They had UT Martin had 26 completions, but only for 168 yards. I think about 6.5 yards per completion. Their longest play was 17 yards for the game, and it wasn't that long ago, the last association game where you were down 21-0. It's Charleston Southern in the blink of an eye. Could you kind of talk about the growth, specifically where have you seen the growth in this defense to be able to put together a performance like they did on Saturday?
Yeah, Ben, good question. That you've heard me say this a lot, you achieve what you emphasize. And I think I really give credit to Coach Inama and his staff because, these are some of the things I talked about, the learning, the lessons along the way, establishing the things we need to get better at. One of those was tackling. They've emphasized so much about, how many explosive plays we've been given up kind of in our recent or in our early in the season. And it's something that, we've been harping on. They've been preparing guys for, but just, getting a team ready to play defensively. But man, the guys again are, we've made tackling a big deal. So they emphasize that in practice. You can't go live against your own guys. So there's still a lot of technique stuff and a lot of that, but anything that we feel like we need to, and because when you do play a team like UT Martin, they're going to be physical. It doesn't matter who gets the football. If it's the quarterback, the running backs, receivers, they're good physical runners that you got to get on the ground, and you got to get a lot of pursuit. Now, the other thing too is, a defense that runs and pursues. I mean, I think that's, one of the turning point plays was Sanjay hustling back to punch the ball out, give us a turnover there. We ended up scoring on that possession after that turnover. And when you're on the plus side of the turnover margin and those extra possessions are turned into points, then, that's when, you're going to have good outcomes to games. So they're just, like I said, they're buying into all that. And they know that they have to be precise. They have to play together because, again, we're stronger. We're going to play teams where, we can't just show up and nobody's going to bow down. I mean, we got to play our tails off. They know it. And they've bought into that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's one of the signatures of this season so far is the ability to kind of correct things really quickly. Even against Miami of Ohio, I think 146 total yards. You had half of that on the first drive on Saturday. 10 punts against Miami, only one on Saturday. Do you agree that that's kind of one of the things you've seen this year is the ability uh, to correct things really quickly? And what do you kind of attribute that ability to?
Well, the reality is we're a really young football team, and I think a lot of us coaches have been together for a lot of years. You think of Dusty and Eric, Inama and Havorka and myself, and
Uh,
even Coach Baldwin and Goose, like our Grab. We've been together a long time, and so we're able to identify teams of our past. Say, hey, this team kind of reminds us of this team, and sometimes you have more. I don't. When I say immaturity, we're not in a bad sense. I mean, I guess youth, and so we have a lot of youth on this team, and that's why we've got to coach every stinking deal of our program right now, right? You got to even how we. I mean, it sounds funny, even how we go on road trips. How do we act on road trips? Why, little things like that. You think about, there's certain teams you have to coach everything. And the good news is when guys buy into that and they take it and they, you challenge them, say, hey, if this doesn't change, this is going to affect not only your playing time, but it's going to affect our team and things. And so guys are taking these challenges and saying, okay, yeah, I need to get right and get fixed. So I like our leadership. I like how guys are being, that's what I attribute it to is guys are buying into that right now.
yeah. Well, very good. And just last thing about this bye week, you feel like is there part of you that says, "Man, we're on a roll, and I wish it wouldn't be this week," or you're pretty happy to kind of have this week to rest, relax, get healthy.
No, you love, I would take the buy over, momentum. I think momentum is an important thing. It builds some confidence, but I don't think that just goes away over bye week. But at the end of the day, really proud of. There are so many dudes right now on our team that are playing injured, playing hurt. We finally got to see maybe the healthiest of in Steve Hall on Saturday. This is the first time he's probably felt good. Jared Rhodes has been the same way. He probably felt healthier than he's been on Saturday, just with the ankle that he's been playing on. So, we've had some of our weapons that, haven't been completely healthy. I think even in the offensive line, we're going to be able to get some guys back. And so, yeah, perfect timing. And we still want to get some work done this week, but we're not taking it completely off, but, we're able to fine tune some things and let guys get rested at the same time.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Coach.
Coach, we'll let you go with that then. Appreciate your time this morning. Hope the open day treats your team well, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday. Thanks, Kyle. See you, Ben.